You know what I find interesting? Exactly, short-lived states. And there are many examples of short-lived states. And also examples on states that weren't really states and weren't that short-lived. But one of these was the Free City of Danzig. What kind of state was this? I mean, it sprung up after the Treaty of Versailles was signed. But why was it set up? And who governed it? And how did it come to an end? That and more you'll find out today. The Free City of Danzig existed from 1920 till 1939. It actually cannot be considered a short-lived state, right? Because Nazi Germany existed shorter, but I ain't gonna cover this state in the short-lived states playlist. But it was a peculiar state, a state everybody says about, yeah, I have heard of this, but where was it all about? And something with the Second World War, right? Exactly. To determine the origins of the city-state, we need to look at the origins of Danzig, Gdańsk in Polish. Since the Second Polish Partition, 1793, the city belonged to Prussia. During the Napoleonic Wars, a free city of Danzig did also exist from 1807 till 1814, and this time it was a French client state. In the ensuing Vienna Congress, it was handed back to Prussia and got absorbed in the German Empire in 1871. Then World War I breaks out and Germany loses. According to the 14 points plan drafted by US President Woodrow Wilson, a Polish nation had to be recreated and Poland would gain access to the sea. This was named the Polish Corridor. Therefore, West Prussia was given to the newly created Second Polish Republic. But what about Danzig? I mean, it had a majority of German people living in it, so it couldn't be granted to Poland. It wouldn't be attached to East Prussia. So what about this? Well, therefore, the Free City of Danzig was created. That consisted of the port city of Danzig, now Gdańsk, and surrounding villages and settlements. The Free City was under the League of Nations protection and put into a binding customs union with Poland. Poland decided what went in and out of the port, and it was Poland that could set the tariffs. The Poles on their turn set up a port at Gdynia and stationed a military garrison at Westerplatte. This and trade conflicts with Germany made it an unstable state. But technically, it wasn't really state. Since it was into a binding customs union with Poland, the country was given certain rights pertaining to communication, the railways, and port facilities in the city. The Free City was created in order to give Poland access to a well-seized seaport. So, who was governing the Free City? Well, officially it was under the rule of the League of Nations. The Free City of Danzig had a constitution that was very similar to that of the Weimar Republic. There was also a parliament named the Volkstag, and it issued its own passports, and the inhabitants of the Free City were referred to as Danzigers, although many German-speaking people in the city didn't like this status, and they even more disliked Polish influences, and therefore the Nazi Party gained massive support. And as the Nazis gained power in Germany, they also did here in the Free City of Danzig. They also took control of the Danzig Police Force that was known as the Schutzpolizei. The Free City of Danzig had its own flag, which was the coat of arms of the city. The flag depicts two silver crosses on a red background above each other, above which hovers a golden crown. And as for money, well, that was issued in 1923. Before that, they used the German Papiermark, and that was the Danzig Gulden. Yes, exactly. In the Netherlands, we had the same coin. Well, not same coin, but kind of the same name of the currency, the gulden, before the euro was introduced. Yeah, the gulden, these were the days, right? As mentioned before, the Nazis gained power here in 1933, and over the years, the democracy was abolished. In 1939, the SS Heimwehr Danzig, a pro-German army formation, was set up, and this unit would help the Germans with their invasion of Danzig in 1939. After this, Danzig was incorporated into the German Reich and became the capital of Danzig, West Prussia. Its Polish inhabitants were expelled. Near the end of the war in 1945, the Wehrmacht was retreating and the Red Army was approaching. A furious battle took place here in the city, which left most of the city in ruins. German soldiers were fighting off the Soviets as long as they could in order for many military personnel and civilians to escape from the city, but eventually thousands would be fall into the hands of the Red Army. After the war, Danzig was transferred to the new Polish state. From now on, Danzig was Gdańsk, and its German inhabitants were expelled. Yet, every year countless of German tourists will visit the city. So yeah, the Germans practically never left. Have you ever been to this city? Let me know if you have, and what are your thoughts about it. I think it's a wonderful city. If you want to know more about the territorial evolution of Poland, you can click right here. Check me out on Patreon, because with your donations I can keep doing this and expand. Thank you so much for watching. I see you later.